Happy Eclipse Day, everybody. I've been reading various things, and one of the things that I was getting at is this is would be a great day to create new intentions. And so when I pull the card out for you, this is the card that I opened the deck, and this one went pick me, and you'll see why when we get to it. So it's one of the things I wanted to play with today is when we're doing loop of awareness. Most of us think about just using our visual senses. So I'm paying attention, giving attention. We think of it as visual. And a lot of what we've been doing here is really whole body looping. But today I wanted to actually focus on having you let your awareness come down into your heart area. And I'd like you to practice letting yourself loop from your heart. So letting first of all, just letting your attention settle into your heart area. And usually we focus on just the front, our heart, but I also want you to include the back of your heart, which is really where you have your own back. So letting yourself loop, like bringing in, and this might be a great way to do some love scoops. So it's bringing in some love and landing it in your heart, and reaching out, because truly the space, I think of love as being able to be in the same space with something else, and really being fully with whatever is occurring. And so really you can gather in presence from all around you and bring it into your heart, and also gather it and bring it in to the back of your heart, so that you can feel the in fact, if you can, you've been practicing your yoga, and you can put one hand on your back and one hand, oh, that's a clever way to do it. I'm doing it this way and reaching up from behind, and then letting yourself breathe between your hands, and letting yourself give love to whatever you're experiencing right now, whatever you're thinking about, whatever is on your mind. Some things that are on our minds are usually often on our hearts, and that's where we're holding them and carrying them. And so if you let yourself just do a love scoop, and let yourself have a couple of big breaths that expand between the front of you and the back of you, so you realize that your heart area can really fill your whole chest, and then your lungs can support that. And then letting yourself loop, that is, letting your attention go out into the space around you, and then back to you. And when I'm doing that, I want you to experiment with what happens for you. When I'm doing that, my eyes soften and widen, and my breath widens and softens and gets more leisurely. And I can actually feel myself like opening my heart door and letting that energy just ripple out, little sparkles, or I'm thinking of Tinkerbell, little out into the world from your heart, and then back to you. And I can also feel a settling in me. So I just noticed I could feel my sits bones sitting on the chair that I'm sitting on. So notice when you let your attention come out, notice if it radiates out. So often from eyes we have it's more pointy, but from heart I feel it more fanning out. It's more of a rainbow, across, and then back to me. So as I'm doing that too, I can just feel a settling, that I'm here. I can feel all of me here, and my body speaking to me like, oh, a little attention here, please, and a little attention here. And so when I come into my heart space, I can receive that much more readily than when I'm, what do I have to do? Where do I have to go? When we get much more into doing from our eyes and much more, I think, into being from our hearts. And so you can also let yourself shift up to, doing your loop from your eyes and noticing how you experience that in your whole body, and then shifting back to looping from your heart. And there's that great quote that I can only paraphrase right now from The Little Prince about, what is really most important is invisible except to the heart. And so when you're letting yourself be in your heart, there are all kinds of communications, I think, that open. They can open into the past, to people that you want to give heart energy to. They can open to your children, to the people that you really love. And then I'd like you to let that extend out to the people that you don't know. So letting this day of this, really once in a lifetime, planetary experience, we really get a chance to see that we are all connected on our little sphere in the void, and let your heart expand as wide as it wants to, and also letting it come back to being as deep as you want to in you. And I always find it helpful, and the research really supports that if you use your hands to assist you, you actually are opening up much more connection, throughout your whole body, mind. And so letting your hands, letting your arms respond to, sending out, like how you want to send your energy out. You could let your hands support you in that. When you're coming back to you, your hands can support the kind of contact that you want with you. And when you make big gestures, you're also including your torso, which opens up much more circulation through your whole being. So letting yourself play with that, because we often consider, I think people think of loop of awareness as a kind of meditation, and it is, but it's a meditation in action. It allows you to presence yourself and be active in the world. So most meditations we do, they're solitary. I'm focused on me. I'm getting into a present space, a holy space. But then I open my eyes and get back into work, and back into doing. But I think loop of awareness is going to allow you to take that presence with you during the day. And I also find that if I'm using my hands, then they can anchor for me later on. If I want to just revive that sense of presence, I can just do a little mini and go, here we are. Here we are in this magnificent wholeness in which all different kinds of things can be created. And one of the things I want to ask you to add into that is the intention that you want to add to your loop. And I want to offer either appreciation, we'll practice both, either appreciation and or wonder. So appreciation, the quality that I love about that is sensitive awareness. So I'd like you to let yourself start by giving sensitive awareness to you. And when I let myself be in curiosity about that sensitivity, the sensitivity can travel places that my cognitive mind wouldn't know. So I just got the insides of the soles of my feet, sort of at the middle of my feet, with going, yes, attention here, please. And as I gave attention, I could feel my feet kind of spreading out and receiving much more nurturing from the earth. So when you're shifting your attention out with that kind of sensitive awareness, I notice more nuances. So I notice the shadow and the light, and I notice a particular quality of blue that I can see through the window. Then when I take that in, I can feel my eyes being nurtured by that. So let yourself practice some loops that are incorporate that sensitive awareness, because that's really appreciation. Isn't rah rah. Appreciation is giving your exquisite attention to what's happening here. Like not what I think ought to be happening or what I'm going to make happening, but what's happening. And then what's happening over here. And I realized that over the last several years, we've gone through a kind of a global freezing, freezing in fear, either freezing or fainting in fear. And so I want to invite you to add movement to your looping, because mostly it's, people are literally have to kind of unfreeze them, when I'm doing any kind of a presentation. And so you can be a source of effervescence in the world by letting yourself just even have tiny movements as you're doing your looping. Opens up the sensitive awareness. It's kind of like a streaming kind of feeling. And if you let your body experience that, so for me, I find it all getting amplified, and then it becomes a real party in there. There's little zings and whoosh and whoa and all kinds of different things that are going on that I can give my attention to. And I know that I'm increasing my circulation so that I'm then able to presence more. I'm able to be here more with me and with what's going on around me. And I've caught, I can catch, oh, that person really would, I can give some attention to that person. I could feel their sorrow and I just give some attention to them. And I know that that makes a difference. And I'd like you to be able to have that experience, that your presence makes a difference, not only for you, but for wherever you show up. You can be this fountain of presence and appreciation that goes on. So let yourself play with that a little bit. And anytime you're feeling depleted, just reach out and bring in some more. There's, that I was just thinking of Bill Nye, in Love Actually, where he has this awful song, love is all around you. But love is all around you. So letting yourself experiment with how you can first receive it and then circulate it. So combining your loops and letting yourself have, like, what's a different movement for you? Something that, like, in your normal life, a kind of movement that you would never make. Would it be a wiggle, or would it be a big, a funny face, or, would it be moving your arms out, or would it, yeah, just make let yourself have the opportunity to do something different, something funny, something, yeah, beautiful. Ah, and then so notice that it increases your aliveness. So when you're opening up your own movement and then you're adding your loop to that, you get to experience increasing movement, and you can refresh that all day long just by simply doing some little, a little wiggle. The fear melters are a great start to making new kinds of movements, because you have oozing, which sends you in a more velvet direction, and you have rooting, which allows you to really allow circulation up through the core of you like a tree. And then you have wiggling, which is an all-time favorite of mine and one of the most easy to do. And you can wiggle a part of you that you haven't really paid any attention to. So like our jaws, we pay so little attention to our jaws, and they carry a lot of the things that we don't say and we don't express. They get, so you can make little honey movements with your jaw. You're gonna open that up. And then adding that too. Now let all of that settle into your heart. So your heart's big enough to hold all of that, all of the play, all of the intentions. And notice how when you're letting yourself loop from your heart, that it can carry all of your intention Even if you don't want to or don't have the opportunity to say anything, you're saying with your heart. And I think this is a great day for that. And I wanted to now just shift to the card that I picked for today. For those of you who might be new to this exploration, welcome, welcome. Really happy to have you here. And at the end of our first part of our sharing, we pick one of the cards from our integrity deck, which is all about having you get aligned with life to create more ease and flow in your life. And so, how about let's show them the picture, because I think you're going to like this one. So, first, let yourself just take this one in, letting yourself receive all of the, like looking out at it. So, you're attending to it, and then you're receiving into you whatever you're experiencing as you look at all of these colors and the cosmos and the lotus opening. And then I'd like you to be either looking at it or having your eyes closed while I share this card. Start with creating a delicious through an entire out breath. I wonder how I can grow a nervous system that can handle expanding amounts of positive energy for longer and longer periods of time. And let yourself take a breath and let a sound out that is your receiving of that. And then I'd like you to let yourself hear this, and also let your body respond in whatever way it wants to while I say this once more. I wonder how I can grow a nervous system that can handle expanding amounts of positive energy for longer and longer periods of time. So for us, that is for Gay and me, this is the big question. And the card, of course, is called Wonder. So let's come on back into our connection with each other, because my sense too is that our Monday practices are really about expanding our ability to enjoy more and more energy, because there's an unlimited amount of energy, and as we're wondering how we can expand all of our I think all of our practices are really about this. How can we expand our ability to enjoy more and more positive energy, more and more energy for longer and longer periods of time? Because then we have, what we call the upper limit problem, where you'll notice, somebody was asking me the other day, gosh, well, how can I really learn about the upper limit problem? And I said, well, the best way to do it is to watch sports. Actually, that's where you see it really, really clearly, because people can be on the verge of what they define as success, and then they sabotage it in some way. And there was a new on the golf tournament yesterday. At the very end, there was a fellow who had never won a PGA tournament, and he did 6 birdies in a row, which is almost unheard of. Yeah, it's 6 birdies in a row on the back 9, for those of you who know the sport. And so he and another guy were tied, and they went into a playoff. And so he hit his into the water, and that was it. So he had done all of the, and then had an upper limit. So the upper limit problem is going to happen, because our natural tendency is to hunker and to make sure that we're preparing for threats. We have thousands of years of preparing for threats, but we don't have much practice of preparing for wonder and preparing for things going well and for things opening up and thriving. And so the practices, particularly loop of awareness, the giving and receiving attention, doing your love scoops, doing your fear melters, will open up your nervous system, in a way that's friendly. Because for me, I can help people open to, massive amounts of energy, but then there's always a crash. So like often in breath work sessions, people have this very expanded energy, but then they can't organize themselves to get back into their day-to-day life. And so we've been, with our breathing and all of the different practices, it's really to allow you to expand, and then integrate, and then expand, and then integrate. And so wonder is it's like sending out a request to the universe. And I'm just thinking of the circulation of the sun and the moon. And I love having the opportunity to let ourselves be celestial bodies that are circulating, and that we have, really all of the universe inside us. As we know, we're made of stardust and all of that, cosmic stuff. So we can declare ourselves from our hearts a source of connection and a source of expansion for others. So I don't know if any of you, we had actually our assistant, Quinn, and her family are somewhere back east for the eclipse today. They planned it for months, and they're going to be in the line. And so I don't know if any of you are actually in the line of where you can, right, and got your glasses and everything. And so, so the rest of us will be really just supporting, all of the amazing, the cosmos is amazing. And I'd like you to let yourself know that you are as amazing as the cosmos. So thank you for being here and playing. And there's also, this seems to be a great day to set an intention, to set an intention for your life, to set an intention for your next evolution. So this would be a great time to do that. Maybe you can share that with others as you're continuing to share after I get off, which I'm going to do now. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Mwah! Bye now.